Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Charlotte Hayes, and today we're diving into something that most men overlook, but actually have full command over. We're discussing your vascular health, in particular, how you can greatly enhance blood flow all through your body, even to those key zones that count the most for male performance, in only 5 minutes with methods you can perform anywhere at any moment. Now, I realize the title could come across as exaggeration, but the research supporting what I'm going to reveal to you is rock solid. Once you grasp how blood flow operates and what blocks it, you can apply targeted methods to basically reboot your vascular setup, unlocking circulation routes that might have been somewhat blocked off for years without you even noticing. The secret to getting this lies in seeing that your blood vessels aren't stiff tubes. They're lively, adaptable tissues that continually tweak their width according to cues from your nervous system, hormones, and nearby tissue elements. The smooth muscle within your arterial linings can tighten up, narrowing the vessels and limiting blood flow, or it can loosen, letting the vessels expand and boosting blood flow substantially. Most guys past 40 are moving through life with persistently narrowed blood vessels. Not severe enough to spark clear signs or health issues right away, but sufficient to notably hinder performance, especially in spots with tinier vessels like the genitals. The great part is that you can undo this narrowing fast with the proper approaches. Allow me to break down what's occurring on a bodily level. The endothelium, serving as the inner coating of your blood vessels, generates a substance known as nitric oxide. Nitric oxide acts as the chief controller of vascular tension. Upon release of nitric oxide, it instructs the smooth muscle in your arterial linings to ease up, leading to vasodilation, or the broadening of blood vessels. Greater nitric oxide means greater blood flow. As men get older, endothelial performance wanes. Your blood vessels make less nitric oxide, and they grow less reactive to whatever nitric oxide gets made. This ranks as one of the main drivers of age-linked drops in performance. But here's the thrilling bit. Endothelial performance reacts strongly to short-term actions. You can spark nitric oxide output and boost vascular sensitivity in mere minutes through certain methods. The 5-minute routine I'm set to show you merges 3 distinct ways to amplify blood flow. We're set to spark nitric oxide output, engage your parasympathetic nervous system, which encourages vasodilation, and generate mechanical shifts in pressure that compel your vessels to widen. Combining all 3 at once yields a strong and instant result. Let's begin with the initial element, which involves rhythmic breathing using exact timing and form. This goes beyond a standard breathing drill. It's finely tuned to peak nitric oxide generation and parasympathetic engagement. Here's the way it operates. You're going to inhale via your nose for a span of 4 seconds. In this intake phase, aim to fill your belly first, followed by your chest. This belly-focused breathing matters because it heightens the triggering of your vagus nerve, the primary conduit of your parasympathetic setup. Following that 4-second intake, you'll pause your breathing for 7 seconds. This pause induces a short-lived lack of oxygen that prompts restorative vasodilation. Your system counters the momentary oxygen dip by widening blood vessels to optimize oxygen transport. Once you resume breathing, then exhale out your mouth for 8 seconds, producing a whooshing noise as you let the air go. This prolonged outbreath additionally stimulates the parasympathetic setup and aids in easing muscle tightness, encompassing the smooth muscle in your arterial linings. But here's the vital extra that many breathing routines overlook. In that 7-second pause, you'll produce a hum. Yes, that's correct. Generate a humming noise in your throat as you hold the breath. This could seem odd, but robust evidence backs it up. Humming generates vibrations within your nasal roots and sinuses. These spots happen to be prime sites where your body crafts ample nitric oxide. The humming-induced vibrations can ramp up nitric oxide output by as much as 15 times versus quiet breathing. Perform this full loop of intake. Pause with humming, and out-breath 5 times consecutively. This runs roughly 90 seconds and lays the groundwork for your vascular reboot. Now we'll shift to the next part, which entails isometric muscle tensing. In particular muscle sets, isometric tensing, in which you tighten a muscle sans shifting the joint, produces a brief cutoff of blood flow to that muscle. Upon letting go of the tense, a reactive hyperemia occurs, meaning a rush of blood flow that surpasses the usual level. This rush impacts more than just the tensed muscle. It sparks a widespread boost in circulation. The muscle sets will focus on get picked deliberately, since they're substantial, and since tensing them yields positive impacts on pelvic blood flow. We'll sequence the glutes, the inner thighs, and the lower abs. Begin with your glutes. Clench your buttocks firmly together as intensely as possible, like you're gripping a coin right there. Maintain this peak tense for 15 seconds, all the while keeping your breathing steady. Avoid pausing your breath in the tense, since that would set off a separate bodily reaction. After those 15 seconds, let go abruptly and fully. You ought to sense a warm, surging feeling as blood surges back into the zone. Right away, switch to your inner thighs. Force your knees inward together like you're crushing an object between them. Once more, full tense for 15 seconds, with steady breathing all through. Then, let go entirely and sense the blood flow rush. Lastly, tense your lower abdominal muscles, drawing your belly button in toward your spine and firming up all in your lower abdomen. This tense also involves your pelvic floor muscles. Keep it for 15 seconds, then let go. This whole run of 3 isometric tenses spans about 90 seconds and generates potent reactive hyperemia all across your pelvis and lower body. Now we'll advance to the third part, which involves dynamic motions that produce pressure shifts in your abdomen and pelvis. These motions basically knead your inner organs and blood vessels through mechanics, boosting blood flow while additionally rousing the nerve grids that manage vascular tension. The initial motion is pelvic tilts. Position yourself standing, with feet at shoulder width and knees a bit flexed. Tilt your pelvis ahead, curving your lower back and pushing your buttocks outward. Maintain this stance for 2 seconds. Then tilt your pelvis rearward, drawing your buttocks in and leveling your lower back. Maintain for 2 seconds. Switch forth and back fluidly, completing 10 full rounds. This motion generates rhythmic pressure shifts in your pelvis that knead the blood vessels and boost flow. The next motion is hip circles. Place your hands on your hips. Trace big, leisurely circles with your pelvis. Envision you're mixing a big pot using your hips. Perform 5 circles one way, then 5 circles the opposite way. This motion additionally heightens pelvic circulation and also lengthens and eases the muscles in your hips and lower back, which might block blood flow when tense. The closing motion is a set of deep squats. Descend yourself as though you're seating into a chair, dropping as low as feels right for you. No need to hit the floor fully. Maintain the low spot for 3 seconds, then ascend back. Complete 5 rounds. Squatting generates major pressure shifts in your abdomen and pelvis, pushes blood from the zone briefly, and then sparks a robust influx of new blood as you rise. These 3 motions span about 90 seconds, pushing our full routine time to roughly 4.5 minutes. We'll dedicate the last 30 seconds to what I term vascular visualization. This could seem mystical, but genuine studies demonstrate that concentrated mental picturing can sway bodily processes, blood flow included. Research employing thermal imaging has revealed that folks can ramp up blood flow to targeted body zones merely by picturing heat and circulation in those spots. For the closing 30 seconds, shut your eyes and picture warm, oxygen-packed blood circulating freely across your body. Envision your blood vessels as broadly accessible passages with blood traveling smoothly and effectively to each part of your body, especially your pelvic zone. Picture heat and vitality extending through your lower body. This mind-based part might appear small, but it contributes to the building impact of the physical methods. Now, let's cover when and how frequently to apply this 5-minute routine. The appeal of this method lies in its instant potency and its stacking advantages over time. You'll detect heightened circulation and better sensitivity immediately post-session, but the gains also accumulate with steady use. For quick impact, perform this routine 15 to 30 minutes prior to when you expect to require top performance. The vascular boosts from the routine persist for hours, so you're crafting a prime period of amplified blood flow. For stacking gains, applying this routine each day, preferably mornings, steadily elevates your everyday vascular performance across weeks and months. You're basically conditioning your blood vessels toward greater reactivity and sustained better tone. Plenty of men practicing this daily note their everyday performance rises clearly in only 2 to 3 weeks. You might also perform this routine several times daily if you like. No drawback exists to boosting your circulation multiple times across the day. Certain men apply it morning and night within their daily habits. Others apply it anytime they snag a couple private minutes in the day. Now, let's explore some advanced tweaks and boosts to this routine that can render it yet more potent. The initial boost is incorporating temperature shifts. If a shower is available, switching between warm and cold water on your lower body yields strong vascular conditioning. The warm water sparks vasodilation. The cold water sparks vasoconstriction. Switching between them conditions your blood vessels toward greater reactivity and adaptability. Post your 5-minute routine, you might add 2 minutes of alternating 30 seconds of warm water and 30 seconds of cool water aimed at your lower abdomen, thighs, and pelvic zone. This shift therapy heightens the vascular conditioning impact of the routine. A further boost is weaving in particular acupressure spots that sway blood flow. A spot sits on the inner ankle, roughly 4 finger widths above the ankle bone, known in traditional Chinese medicine for boosting circulation to the pelvic zone. Post your 5-minute routine, press steadily on this spot on both ankles for about 30 seconds apiece. The pressure ought to feel deep and spreading, yet not hurtful. Another spot lies on the lower abdomen, roughly 4 finger widths below the navel, linked to reproductive wellness and pelvic circulation. Kneading this zone with steady circular rubs for a minute or 2 following your routine can amplify the blood flow impacts. Let's further discuss the influence of body stance and how it sways the routine's effectiveness. Though you can execute these methods while standing, which suits most scenarios, certain stances can intensify the effects more. Executing the breathing part while reclined on your back with hips propped on a pillow sets a superior angle for blood flow toward the pelvic zone. Gravity aids you, and the prop cuts the effort your heart expends to send blood there. For the isometric tenses, a lounging stance can let you tense more intensely since you skip balancing as in standing. This allows firmer tenses which yield stronger reactive hyperemia upon release. The motion part typically functions best standing, as you gain fuller motion range and can involve the muscles more thoroughly. But the whole routine can adjust to varied stances based on your situation and tastes. Now let's examine hydration and its vital part in vascular performance. Blood consists of about 55% plasma, and plasma is mostly water. When dehydrated, even slightly, your blood turns more viscous or thicker. Thicker blood flows less readily through your blood vessels, especially the slimmer ones in your limbs and genitals. Numerous men stay mildly dehydrated ongoing without awareness. If your urine shades darker than pale yellow, you're short on water intake. Prime hydration for vascular performance involves taking in enough water so your urine stays pale yellow or nearly transparent consistently. For the 5-minute vascular routine to perform at peak, you ought to stay well hydrated. Sipping a big glass of water roughly 30 minutes before the routine guarantees your blood volume hits optimal, and your blood holds the ideal thickness for peak flow. An intriguing link also ties hydration to nitric oxide generation. The enzymatic steps crafting nitric oxide run more smoothly when well hydrated. Thus, apt hydration heightens the potency of the breathing and humming part of the routine. Let's address the scheduling of meals and how it sways vascular performance. Following a big meal, much blood flow shifts to your digestive tract. That's why folks often feel lethargic post-meal. The blood tied to your digestive tract is blood unavailable for other roles. For top vascular reaction, best to run this routine with an empty stomach, or at minimum 2 hours post-meal. This secures that peak blood flow stands ready to route where desired instead of locked in digestion. Likewise, if applying this routine pre-intimate moments, meal timing gains extra weight. A hefty meal within 2 hours of intimate moments can notably hamper performance, purely from blood flow rivalry between your digestive tract and other zones. Now let's explore the tie between this vascular routine and the enduring health of your endothelium. Each instance you spark vasodilation via these methods, you're not merely temporarily boosting blood flow, you're also working out your endothelial cells, those lining your blood vessels. Like every other tissue in your body, the endothelium adapts to steady stimulation by growing tougher and more capable. Steady practice of vascular conditioning via these methods can elevate your endothelial performance at its core, meaning superior everyday blood flow, even sans active routine. Studies on endothelial performance indicate it can advance at any age via fitting actions. Men in their 60s and 70s who pursue steady vascular conditioning can lift their endothelial performance to matches of men years younger. This goes beyond mere short-term output. It's about countering age-tied vascular waning and sustaining sound circulation over the long haul. Let me further tackle the impact of mental outlook and stress on vascular performance. Ongoing stress rouses your sympathetic nervous system, which sparks vasoconstriction. Under stress, your blood vessels stay narrowed ongoing, hampering performance across ways. The breathing part of this routine stands especially potent for easing stress. The exact breathing sequence we're employing rates among the top methods for rousing the parasympathetic system and quelling the stress reaction. Steady practice of this breathing sequence, even beyond the full 5-minute routine, can aid in lowering your everyday stress and elevating your broad vascular wellness. Certain men deem it useful to run the breathing segment of the routine multiple times daily as a stress handling aid. Then execute the full routine once or twice daily for peak vascular gains. This method tackles both the short-term call for boosted circulation and the ongoing matter of stress-linked vasoconstriction. Lastly, let's cover monitoring your outcomes and grasping what gains to anticipate. In the opening week of steady practice, most men sense they feel warmer, especially in limbs. This stems from better circulation, hauling more warm blood to those spots. Some men sense heightened energy, since superior circulation delivers superior oxygen and nutrient supply to all tissues. By weeks 2 to 3, most men detect gains in performance. Morning occurrences might grow more common or sturdier. Reaction speed might quicken. Total capacity might rise. These shifts signal your vascular setup is adapting to the conditioning and turning more capable. By weeks 4 to 6 of daily practice, numerous men note their everyday performance has risen to levels unseen in years. The gains frequently persist past this, though the pace might ease as you near your prime performance for your age and wellness state. Thanks for joining today. If this proved worthwhile, kindly subscribe for further research-backed material on fine-tuning your wellness. Until our next, this is Dr. Charlotte Hayes urging you that your vascular wellness proves trainable and merely 5 minutes daily can yield a deep